bloody WCW shows.
It's a goddamn seed.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, another episode of 1998 Was It Great? Tonight we're going to be looking at WCW Sold Out. Yes, I understand I haven't looked into WCW since Fall Brawl of 1997. So of course we've missed out on a lot. Scott Hall winning World War III, some pay-per-view called Starrcade where a match happened, apparently something happened there. Don't really remember what it was. We're live at the Hara Arena, I assume that's pronounced right, in Trotwood in Ohio, a place I've never heard of, honestly. A long-time home of wrestling. It'll host ECW Heatwave later on in the year. Of course, that's another story for another vid, isn't it, folks? Opening package focuses on the Giant versus Kevin Nash. At the end of it, Bischoff says, "Hell have no fury like Sold Out," which doesn't make sense. Pay-per-view is on a Saturday night. I can only assume it's to avoid Super Bowl 32, which will be held even the next day. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Tony, Bobby, and Dusty on commentary. Let's get on to this one because I've got a lot to get through. 6 pages of notes. So, opening contest. Juvetud Guerrero, Lizmark Jr., Super Calo, or Calo, it's Calo, isn't it? Defeating, and Chavo Guerrero Jr. defeating La Parka, El Dandy, Silver King, and Psychosis in a good opener. Lucha rules in this one, so if you leave the ring, another member of your team can enter. Tay joined us for commentary because that's what he does. Roddy Piper is a GIMP sign in the crowd, really makes me chuckle. So, this one may take a while to get through because there's a lot of spots. Calo gets, I'm going to say it like that, if I'm wrong, fuck it, it's a long time ago. Calo gets a nice power slam on the other goings and follows with a tilt-a-world sidewalk slam. Silver King hitting a sweet super kick. Lizmark cuts him off with a tilt-a-world backbreaker for 2. King comes back with a tornado DDT for 2. Chavo and Dandy in. Chavo hits a monkey flip and a dropkick. They both go outside, so Juve and La Parka come in. They hit stereo baseball slides on their respective enemies on the outside in a nice little spot. Then Juve hits a sweet Rana that puts La Parka on the outside. Juve lariats Psychosis, but eats one from Lizmark, who then hits a lion salt and a cradle for 2. Dandy in, he gets 2 off a La Magistral cradle. Fuck, should we just do the spots instead? Let's go through the spots. So, Calo with a head scissors off the top, Silver King with a helicopter spin and a somersault leg drop for 2. 450 splash by Juve gets 2. Sit out bomb by La Parka gets 2. Guillotine leg drop by Psychosis gets 2. Silver King drop kicks Calo to the outside and attempts a springboard crossbody but eats floor. Calo follows with a swan top bomb. Dandy with a suicide dive over the top rope. Flying leg lariat by Juve, corkscrew moonsault by Parka. I say a moonsault by Lizmark, which leaves Chavo. Oh, it's not actually that much, is it? Sorry. Yeah, that leaves Chavo and Psychosis in the ring. Tornado DDT gets the win for Chavo at 9 minutes and 28 seconds. I'll put it this way, folks. I'm really quite glad that I'm watching this one later on, not at the time. Because if I'd been writing, if I'd been watching this one and reviewing this one live, my notes would have said they did a lot of spots. Basically, with this one, it was watch a spot, write down what happened. Watch a spot, write down what happens. The actual match took about 20 minutes to watch, even though the actual match went 9:28. Lots of silly spots. Pop the crowd, get them warmed up. If you're going to do a match like this, do it first to get the crowd into it. Obviously, there is absolutely zero storytelling. There is no selling whatsoever. But the thing is, I mean, I don't like Lucha Libre for that very reason. I say it all the time. 3 stars, I think, is generous for the spots. And the crowd absolutely loved every second of it. La Parka gets his chair, takes out, well, everyone, his members of his team and everyone else, and on the opposition team as well, because they can, really, and the crowd eat that one up as well, so why the fuck not? Mean Gene shills the hotline. It's $1.69 a minute. Remember I've talked about this one in the past, haven't I? Oh, ridiculous amount. Next, Chris Benoit defeating Raven in a great Raven's Rules match. This match was supposed to take place at Starrcade, but Perry Saturn took Raven's place, as the storyline seems to be, because I'm not quite sure, that Raven is meant to be facing Benoit, but Raven puts members of his flock in place. It's a nice little storyline, ducking until he has to face him. Tonight he has to face him. Why not? Raven cuts a promo before the match saying he isn't afraid of Benoit's pain and he will use the pain that Benoit inflicts on him. So they start on the outside where Raven whips Benoit into the rail and steps. Inside, Raven hits a pair of snapmares. Benoit comes back to the backside for Drew. They brawl, trade covers before going outside where Raven uses a chair. He takes a chair into the ring and hits a nice bulldog onto it. Benoit comes back with a drop toe hold onto said chair, some vicious chops, a short arm clothesline, and a snap suplex onto the chair for 2. Which I really like, because Raven's MO is that he uses the chair, doesn't he? So when Benoit to come back and use the chair and use his own chair against him, all good stuff. He takes Raven's shirt off, hits some more chops, just they'll be that little bit more vicious without the cloth. And a baseball slide which launches Raven into the railings even. Raven tries to bail, so Benoit suplexes on the ramp because he can. Back inside, Benoit hits another snap suplex on the chair, then puts the chair on his face and hits a diving headbutt, KOing himself in the process. The eventual cover gets 2 for Benoit. He goes for a Northern Light suplex, but Raven counters into a sweet DDT and it's free. It's Benoit first, cover gets 2. Raven goes for the even flow, but is countered into the crossface. And get this, yeah, Raven passes out from the pain, but not before he is laughing while he's in the crossface, which is both really creepy and fucking wonderful at the same time. And that gets the win at 10 minutes and 38 seconds. Here's Kidman, but Malenko makes the save. Before I can do anything, Flock comes on and start beating it, but Benoit and Malenko chase them away. I really enjoyed this match. I'm happy to give this one 4 stars, believe it or not. Benoit was mega pissed off with Raven, and he let it show. There was big bumps, there was stiff action, there was great storytelling. Really good match. Happy days. 2 good matches on the bounce, and then we get a 3rd one, believe it or not, as Chris Jericho defeating Rey Mysterio Jr. in a good match to win the Cruiserweight Championship. There's a loud Jericho sucks chant at the start of this one. Chris Jericho's injured Rey Mysterio's knee. Story's going to tell itself, isn't it? You would think. Okay, so Rey starts off in control, but he touches the knee after every single move he does, which is always going to make me a happy boy. He puts on the brakes when he goes for a suicide dive to the outside, for example, because the knees bother him so much. He gets 2 off a victory roll, sells the leg. Jericho with a nice backbreaker, which puzzles both me and the commentators, because he sat there going, work the knee, not the back, surely. I understand the Lion Tamer is going to be the type of move that works the back, but come on, think about it. But it's alright though, he rams the knee into the turnbuckle. And the commentators, I like this one a lot. I gave Tony Schiavone a lot of stick, but I like this one because he says Jericho wants to embarrass Rey and show the world how many moves he knows before he targets the knee. Why not? That is nothing wrong with that at all. Rey hits what can only be described as a jumping unprettier for 2. Still selling the knee, which pleases me, especially when he hits a springboard flip. Really sells the knee when he lands. He tries another springboard. Jericho knocks him off the ropes. They go up top where Rey tries a Rana. Jericho counters on the way down into the Lion Tamer, and that gets the win very, very quickly at 8 minutes dead. Jericho cuts a promo after the bell about not booing him, telling the people to not boo him. They continue to boo him, obviously, because that's what they would do. So he's like, right, if you're going to boo me, I'm going to give you a reason to boo you, and starts attacking Rey Mysterio's leg. Why the fuck not? Absolutely wild. Gets a massive, like this big toolbox out from under the ring. Launches that into his leg. Why not? Rey is then carried out by trainers, and that's that. I would have liked a few more minutes. 8 minutes, bit short, but the storytelling of this one was absolutely fantastic. The way I look at it is that Jericho was basically just taking his time. He knew that if he got the Lion Tamer on, that was it, game over. So he could take his time. Rey did everything in his power to try and get the win. Came up short, lost the championship. All good. So, 3 good matches. Then we get a segment which is, you may know that at Starrcade, Sting beat Hogan to win the WCW Championship. But, because of this stupid-ass backwards way that he did it, and I'm sure, you know what happened. Hogan got a fast count that wasn't a fast count, and then the match was restarted and the Sting won. Because of that, the title's been held up. So here's JJ fucking Dillon with the belt. He brings out Roddy Piper because he was the interim commissioner and did a great job, according to JJ. Piper makes a couple of nice jokes about Hogan and Sting, but says he feels responsible for what's going on with the championship because he made Hogan versus Sting at Starrcade. He brings Sting out, then Hogan and Hall. Hogan and Hall, complete with Bischoff, take an absolute age to get to the ring. Piper says Hall won World War III and deserves a title shot, but because we have no champion, then he's not going to get his title shot. He follows up saying he understands why Hogan is vexed. He teases that he's going to give the championship to Hogan, but then says, not. And at Super Brawl, we're going to get these two one-on-one. Yeah, and that's that. So this 12 minutes, I'm pretty certain that this is what Nitro stole. If you ask me, because this did not need to be on this pay-per-view. I would much rather have given them half of this 12 minutes, so 6 minutes, added to Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio, and you would have had a very happy mark. Okay, next, Booker T defeating Rick Martel in a surprisingly good match to retain the TV Championship. So Booker had beaten Disco Inferno, the Nitro after Starrcade. Martel has just returned to WC, or no, just returned to the business. He's been out of the business for a good couple of years. In my opinion, as far as I know, I should say, his last appearance in wrestling was at the 1995 Royal Rumble, so it's been a good couple of years. Nice back and forth from both men until Booker can get a lariat and a suplex and goes to work on the arm. The crowd are quiet as it's face versus face. They can't decide who to cheer for, so of course they do what any good crowd does and cheers neither of them. Martel attempts a leapfrog and Booker's face goes into his balls, which has got to sting. But wait, he's only faking. He just can't seem to do the whole babyface thing. He has to be the subtle heel. I like that a lot. Martel gets 2 off a gut wrench suplex, 2 off a spine buster. His finishing move is a Boston Crab. That makes perfect sense. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Booker gets a sunset flip the 2 Martel with an abdominal stretch, which works the back. So I'm happy. Why not? Quebec Crab. So it's not a Boston Crab at all. It's a Quebec Crab. Booker gets the ropes, and in my opinion, he gets the ropes way too quickly. Way too fast. He should do it slowly. He just missions to the ropes really quickly. Booker comes back though, axe kick, sidewalk slam and a Harlem hangover, gets the win at 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Booker didn't sell the back very much at all while he was making his comeback, which he really should have done. But this had a very old school feel to it, and I liked that. Martel being the subtle heel, he looked great over there. After the bell, he teases a full-blown heel turn, but gives Booker the championship. Booker leaves. Perry Saturn attacks Martel after the bell. Would you believe that's 4 good matches on the trot? It all has to end though, of course it does. As Larry Zbyszko defeating Scott Hall in a pretty poor match, to be honest. Larry's vexed at the NWO, so wants a match with Hall. Why not? So why not, eh? He promises he isn't going into battle alone though. And oh no, it's commentator Dusty Rhodes joins him in his corner. Scott Hall has Louis Spicoli in his corner. Larry gets a pair of abdominal stretches. The crowd think that both of these two suck. So at one point you'll have a Larry sucks chant, very, very loud one at that. The next breath you'll have a Hall sucks chant. Why not? So, yeah, fall-away slam by Hall. The Razor's Edge is countered. Ref gets bumped so Louis and Dusty can get in it. Dusty's bionic elbows send the place into an absolute frenzy, and then he hits an elbow on Larry. He takes off his shirt to reveal an NWO t-shirt, hitting another elbow to get the disqualification. Even Heenan is pissed off about this one. The 3 men batter Larry, then leave together. Match wasn't great, but was better than I was expecting. Now, I was expecting it to be a dud match, and it wasn't, is what I'll say on that one. This basically sets up Louis Spicoli versus Larry Zbyszko at Super Brawl. Alas, that is not meant to be because the week before Super Brawl, Louis Spicoli unfortunately choked on his own vomit, passed away on February the 15th, so that match will not happen, I'm afraid. Next, Ray Traylor and the Steiner brothers defeating Buff Bagwell, Konnan and Scott Norton in a boring match. On paper, this one doesn't look very good. Hell, Tony's really properly cut up about Dusty, so he doesn't really commentate for a while. For those who don't know who Ray Traylor is, he is the artist formerly known as the Big Boss Man. He does a great job of covering for Tony, saying that Dusty gave him his break in his business and all that jazz. Mike Tenay joins us so we can have some colour. Scott has been teasing a heel turn for quite some time. Rick turns a leapfrog into a power slam as we start off, identical to the one that Road Warrior Animal did on Road Dogg, actually. Now I think about it, at the Royal Rumble. Ray is your former boss man in peril as the heels make quick tags. Mild, and it is mild tag to Rick, who gets DT by Konnan, so now Rick is your Steiner in peril. Interesting bit of storytelling here is that Scott's been such a prick recently that neither Ray nor Rick will tag him in. That's really quite fantastic. Sign in the crowd says Ryan, and it's got 3 arrows pointing down. So he's holding up his sign, it says Ryan, and it's got these arrows pointing down. Now I get your name is Ryan, I get that, but think about it, you've gone to the wrestling, and you're on the hard camera side, and that's the best that you can do. The best sign that you can come up with says your name. Well done there, dude. Well done, Ryan. Crowd, not interested in this one whatsoever. Scott and Ray tagging at the same time. The crowd pop as DiBiase plants Vincent on the outside. DiBiase's out with the Steiners, and of course Vincent's part of the NWO. So the crowd pop for that one. It's all good. Ref says that Scott isn't the legal man, but he shoves the referee. Hits a dragon suplex. I swear to God, it seems like Scott Steiner does moves like this just to annoy me, because the dragon suplex is in my top 3 favourite wrestling moves. Any move that is hit in a match that's in my top 3 is an automatic half-star added to the points. And you're just like, oh, for goodness sake, man. Yeah, anyway, Ray tags in Scott to make him legal and hits the fucking Steiner screwdriver to get the win. You're like, where the fuck did that come from? Match told a decent story, I suppose, because of the problems between Rick and Scott, but the flat crowd and the boring heels made this one very, very dull. And I think 1 star is actually quite a generous rating, to be honest. And then, this is an interesting one, because Kevin Nash defeating the Giant, wait for it, in a good match. Bear with me, I've got very, very dry mouth because I'm trying to talk as fucking fast as possible because we've still got 2 fucking pages of notes to get through. Okay, this one was scheduled for Starrcade. It's Nash no-showed, and I don't want to speculate. I've gone online, I typed in Kevin Nash Starrcade, and there's a whole of reasons why he wasn't there. Apparently, he'd been, if you read the Death of WCW, it says that he'd been overheard saying he point blank refused to lose to the Giant. And then the day of the show came along, Bischoff gets to the arena and is told Nash isn't there because he's in hospital because he believes he's had a heart attack. Now, in Bischoff's book, he says that he believes him. I don't know. I don't care, is the truth. This one gives us time for our favourite game. How many bumps will Kevin Nash take? Oh, I put 3. 3. Oh, yes, 3, because fuck the Giant sort of thing. But how wrong I am. Sidewalk slam by Giant starts us off. There's 1. He follows off with some butt thumps in the corner. Nash regroups with Hogan and Bischoff on the outside. Inside, Giant gets a big boot and then a big hip toss. Nash comes back with a leapfrog and clotheslines Giant to the outside, and then, get this, attempts a suicide dive. And he sat there for the big man going, no. And it just looks so poor. Oh, man, it's bad. It's bad. Giant catches him, though, slams him into the ring post. And then while the ref's checking on Nash in the ring, Hogan uses a chair to the back of the Giant. Ref gets up to 9. Giant gets back in. 9, Nash with a pair of splashes on the ropes. But then, Giant hits a clothesline, and they both hit big boots for the double KO. Covered by Nash gets 2, and the crowd are actually really not only the crowd really enjoying this one, are actually genuinely enjoying this one. But then, I mean, God, I mean, it's not, I mean, it's one of those things that I went into this one going, that looks wank. But then, of course, there's that, plus the fact that the last 2 matches were fucking terrible, and it makes this one like, yep, enjoying that one, but check this out, this is absolutely ridiculous, yeah. Inverted atomic drop by Giant, right? 2 headbutts, that's 6. 3 clotheslines, so that's 9, and a big boot down, put Kevin Nash down, yeah? That's 10, and then, sorry, a scoop slam makes it 11. Giant calls for the choke slam, but Hogan distracts the referee, so Giant calmly goes, oh, fuck it, we all do. Choke slams Bischoff instead, because why not? Hogan gives Nash a pot of coffee. He doesn't swig it to revive himself like you would expect. Oh no, he throws it into Giant's eyes. He hits a low blow and then hits quite possibly the worst looking jackknife powerbomb I've ever seen, and it is cringeworthy to see because Giant comes down right on his neck. It is horrible, but it gets the win. And let me tell you something, Giant looked amazing out here because Nash was bumping like an absolute boss for him. Psychologically wise, you sat there going, because I'm always told, aren't I, that, you know, the big man shouldn't leave his feet. The big man left his feet a lot during this one. Oh, he really did good. But Jesus Christ, that finish was horrible, awful, scary to watch, sort of thing. Trainers come out, yeah? Don't bother about his neck. Fuck his neck. They're too busy bandaging his eyes, including lifting his head up so they can put the bandage around his head. And you sat there screaming at your TV going, no, put a fucking neck brace on him. Balls to the fucking cold coffee, because it would have been at that point. 10 minutes into a match, so, stupid that is. But the thing is, the match I actually enjoyed so much more than I was expecting. So, genuinely so much more. I'm going to give that one 3 stars, because I'm a nice guy. Maybe 2.5 because of the finish. Anyway, next, Bret Hart defeating Ric Flair in a genuinely brilliant match. Bret was the hottest name in wrestling after the Montreal Screwjob. Went to WCW, of course, was a referee on his first pay-per-view, because why the fuck not? So this is actually his first pay-per-view match. Bret gets a figure 4 early on. He follows with a suplex and a chin lock, then a big slap, big body drop, a scoop slam, and a headlock takedown get 2. Flair with a thumb to the eyes, but Bret responds with a sleeper. Flair counters into a back suplex. He gets the referee to check how much of the match has gone and Lobo's Bret because he's the dirtiest player in the game and why the fuck not, sort of thing, Chinlock, chops, and choking by the Nature Boy. Neck breaker by Bret, followed by Bulldog for 2. He attacks the leg across the ropes and drops an elbow onto the knee. He wants the written post figure 4, but Flair kicks him off and he goes into the guardrail. Flair sells the leg nicely as Bret gets back inside. Flair hits a shin breaker, Flair hits a shin breaker, yanks on the leg a couple of times, and hits a second shin breaker, but Bret is able to snap off a quick enziguri. Flair goes for the figure 4, instead it's counted into a schoolboy for 2, and a backside also gets 2. That really makes Bret mad, so he argues with the referee, and of course Flair chop blocks the knee. Locks on the figure 4 in the middle of the ring, but Bret is able to turn it over. Flair goes up top, is launched off. Didn't see that coming, honest, really I didn't. Bret with the 5 moves of doom, the Russian leg sweep, the backbreaker, middle rope elbow drop, superplex, and of course the sharp shoot A, getting the win for Bret at 18 minutes and 2 seconds. Superb match, good sound storytelling, which means I'm going to absolutely love it. We have to dock off points, obviously, because Bret refused to sell the leg after the match. That would have made it 5-star territory, in my opinion, but he didn't, so it isn't. It's that simple, but this is a great match. And if I had my way, this would be the main event. This would send fans home happy. But no, we have to have Lex Luger defeating Randy Savage in the main event. And it says on my notes in capital letters, why is this the main event? All Savage, complete with Liz cheating, Joel Jackson with the ref, healing it somewhat. They go outside, Luger comes back with control. In the ring, 4 clotheslines, a power slam. Here's Hall and Hogan with chairs. They start arguing. Hall gets up on the apron. Savage is whipped into him to knock him off. And the Rack gets the win. Yay. And that's that. Awful match. It goes about 7 minutes. Crowd seems to like it though. NWO come down for the beatdown. Here's Sting to make the save. It's a 6-on-2 beatdown, but the faces somehow win that one. I don't know. Rack for Nash. Deathlock for Hogan. And that ends the show. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 of this 9-match card, 5 matches on this one are 3 stars and above, if you can believe that. This show has 1 screwy finish. Doesn't actually have Hogan in a match, which is good. Basically, skip the all of the NWO stuff, and you will have a great pay-per-view. Because of the NWO stuff, you don't. How's that? No, if I'm being serious, because I ripped WCW something wrong, because it was an idiotic company that deserved to go out of business, but this is easily the best WCW pay-per-view I've ever seen. That's, that is not me messing around. That is genuinely true. Yeah, but like I say, 3 matches are 1 star. I mean, you could give the main event a dud or a half-star or something like that. Yeah, look down below, I'll tell you. Because, but you've got those 2 matches in the middle, but the rest, 3-star or at least. I mean, Booker T and Rick Martel is 2.5 stars, for goodness sake. This is a good to great. It's like I say, probably the best WCW show I've ever seen. All right, how's that sound, ladies and gentlemen? I've been Mark P. A lot of people wanted this one, so please let me know what you thought down below. I really hope you enjoyed this. Like I say, I've been Mark P. I've just said that. Take it easy. Thank you so much for watching, and good night. Take it easy, guys.